I pray that as you're following through, you're doing something. I hope this is just information you are acquiring. Because information transfer is not transformation. And if you're going to see transformation in your life, you have to do something about the information you get. I'm a firm believer that there are places I've said no to, because I don't want just to go get another information. I want to get something that I can apply. And so that is why in 2016, when I got certified as a coach, I finished in December, but the certification came through in January of 2017. When I finished, I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? It bothered me because I was wondering, I now know these things. I've gone through this, but I can't apply it. It's tough. So it bothered me for a very long time. But as I was doing that, I was figuring out how to really bring that into life. And it took, I think, how many months? 10 months? Because it's in November of 2017 that I was actually finally able to apply this. The same relates to, those of you who know about AYLF. I went to Uganda, got the dream, got psyched up about it, came back, and the friend I went with, remember, I could tell him, hey, we need to do something about that thing. We need to do something about that thing. We need to do something about that thing. So, personally as Gabriel, I struggle with just getting information if I'm not going to do something about it. So, all that to say that I hope all this is not just another information you're acquiring, but you are doing something about it. Now, today we're going to talk about overcoming resistance. Because in most cases, you will have a good dream, a good goal, but there's just so much that is happening and you don't even know what to do to get this goal, this thing done. A quote goes like, a problem well defined is a problem half solved. And I believe in that. If I can define it, then it's as much better as solving it, like half solved. So you need to be clear on how well do you understand your resistance to change. How well can you define whatever it is, obstacle, challenge you are facing, to actually apply or do something about what you know, what you need to do. I remember I was talking to someone about a program they were planning to do. And so we talked about it and we're like, hey, yeah, we need to do this program, but yeah, I don't think we are able to do it. So I asked, okay, so what's the challenge? What are you facing? What's the challenge? And at that point, they had not fully defined this challenge. They had not fully looked at, so what's the obstacle? Now, there's a tool here called Overcoming Resistance. And in this tool, it just helps to really help you really realize, what are we dealing with? What is stopping us from moving forward? And there are three things that could be. There's a barrier, a hurdle, and a gap when you start defining your resistance. A barrier, hurdle, or a gap. Now, let's look at each. A barrier, these are some things you can't change. Things you can't change. And there are a number of things that are around you that you know, I can't change this. And it's good to know that, so that you know where you need not to spend your time on it. It could be a situation with your body. It could be a situation with your living environment. It could be a situation, there are things you just have to acknowledge, I can't change this. This is it for me. Now, it could be a barrier for you, and I want to bring a clear distinction here. It could be a barrier for you, but to someone else, it's not a barrier. And maybe talking to this person, they can help you work around it. So before you actually even give up on it, it's good to talk to someone about it. For example, during COVID, and anyway, I don't know whether it's a good example, but during COVID, when they barricaded, we could not move. They blocked Nairobi because of quarantine and everything. So so you could not move. Nairobi was locked. And so ordinarily you could not just wake up and walk, or rather you move and get a vehicle to move. Anyway, some people figured out how to get this. But ordinarily you would not just move as we move right now. So there was a barrier. But if you talked to someone and you had a legitimate reason, this person would get you a work around this barrier. But there are cases where there was no possibility of a workaround. But there are cases where there was a possibility of a workaround. In essence, what I'm saying is, before you say, this is a barrier, I can't change it, it's important to talk to someone, because just maybe someone else will tell you, I have a way out for you in that one. The next thing is a hurdle. A hurdle, there are things that you have to overcome. Things that you have to be creative around. Same example to this program, I was talking to someone. So, after we talked, they realized, this is a hurdle. It's a hurdle for us. And so I asked them, okay, so what are you going to do about it? I think we need to be creative around it. We just need to be creative around it. We can't get what we wanted. We can't get the speaker we wanted. But let's be creative around it. Let's do a panel conversation instead of getting a speaker. And so, a panel conversation comes, and you have a panel, and it becomes even wonderful. So instead of canceling the event because the speaker you wanted to come is not coming, what you do is you become creative around it. And that's just an example. There could be more. What are some of the things that you need to be creative around it and try to overcome that hurdle by just being creative around it? It could be a person, it could be something. The last is a gap. What is the gap? And what is it that you need? And a gap is something you need to fill. And it could be you need to go study something. You need to go spend a whole night, read about how to write a proposal. That's a gap. It could be you need to outsource a service. Call someone. It's a gap. It's a financial analyst you need. Go get that person. Let him sit here, give you the service for a period. It's a gap. Fill the gap. Look for someone to offer that service to you. Or go study it. Or take a loan. Or what is the gap you're dealing with? Now, this might look simplistic to you when you talk about it. But I want you to think through some of the resistance you've faced. And as I said again, a problem well-defined is a problem half-solved. The minute that you can well-define it and say, this is a barrier. Is it a person or is it something? Is it a who or a what? Who or a what? This is a hurdle. Who is the hurdle or what is the hurdle? This is a gap. Who is the gap? Do you need someone or what is the gap? What is the gap? Do you need to take a loan? Do you need to go borrow something? Do you need to borrow someone's computer? Because that's the gap you're lacking. You just need a computer, and then you just need a proposal. You just need a pen. You just need something. And if you get that, then you can start walking your natural next step. You can start growing, building this idea into something else. So I want you to think through the challenge you're facing, the resistance you might face, and try to define it in that context. See if really this would help you be able to make some progress in your journey to realize your goal. Again, thank you for listening. And I pray that this helps you be able to really process this and just process how do I overcome the resistance and what really is the resistance? Is it a barrier? Is it a hurdle? Or is it a gap? Thank you very much for listening. And I pray and hope that this helps you be able to move yourself to the next level when you're able to clearly define whatever it is that might stop you from achieving that goal that you're working towards, that will build you towards your dream life, your dream career, your dream work. Thank you, and do have a wonderful time. Thank you.